I see quite a lot of terrible driving when I'm out and about, and many of you send me clips of terrible driving, which from time to time I will comment upon, much like I will do so if I see one on Twitter. But this one really takes the biscuit, and it speaks to the elephant in the room, which is the driver being unnecessarily aggressive. Now, for the avoidance of doubt, if a driver is deemed to be driving and acting with unnecessary aggression, this would amount to, at the very least, careless driving, as it's commonly known under Section 3 of the Road Traffic Act, which is driving without consideration for other road users. So without further ado, let's take a look at this clip. Now, the first thing many of you are going to say is, why was the cyclist riding in the middle of the road? As a brief aside, if I could ask you please to sign up to proofify.app in the description below. Join the waiting list, because we're going to launch soon. This will allow you to save and store such evidence, such as the clip that I'm showing you here on this video, and for any other kind of claim that you might later need to prove in court. I will guide you as to what evidence we would like to see as lawyers to help you prove your claim. Whatever your claim might be, you'll find something for it on Proofify. So sign up in the description below, and now back to the video. Now, the first thing many of you are going to say is, why was the cyclist riding in the middle of the road? Some of you might take that argument further and say the cyclist should not be riding in the middle of the road. Well, allow me to dispel both of those first of all, by directing you to Rule 72 of the Highway Code. They are rules, by the way, so they do need to be followed. And if some people believe that they are just guidance and don't matter, then see how that holds up in court later on, because they go against you if you've broken the rules. Rule 72 provides information on road positioning, specifically for cyclists, because rules 59 to 82 are rules for cyclists. This talks about road positioning and says when riding on the roads, there are two basic road positions you should adopt, depending on the situation. Starting in reverse order, with number 2, when riding on busy roads with vehicles moving faster than you, allow them to overtake you where it's safe to do so, keeping at least half a metre away and further when it's safer from the curb edge. So at least half a metre away from the curb edge. Remember that traffic on most dual carriageways moves quickly and so on and so forth. Now back to the first part of that, which is the first position that the Highway Code suggests for cyclists is ride in the centre of your lane to make yourself as clearly visible as possible in the following situations: on quieter roads, in slow-moving traffic, and at the approach to junctions, road narrowings where it would be unsafe for drivers to overtake you. So for the avoidance of doubt, if it's a quiet road or street, slower-moving traffic, or approaching a junction or a road narrowing, such as when there are vehicles parked along the road, which I'll come back to in a moment, the Highway Code says that the cyclist should ride in the centre of the lane. So let's all agree that this is what the rules say. And if you break those rules and there's a collision, you are more likely to be at fault in the court's eyes, and you are more likely to be punished in the court's eyes than the other road user, if they are complying with the rules. So that's what the law is. That's not my opinion. That's what the law is. So feel free to disagree with it, but you'll be on the wrong end of that argument. Now, this clip that I can go back to here, you can see from this portion of the screenshot that there are vehicles alongside the left-hand side of the road as the cyclist is traversing up the road. Obviously, this is a rear-pointing view, so just bear with me and reverse the perspective a little bit. They're on the left from the cyclist's perspective. Therefore, it's a narrowed street, for one, which meets the definition in 72 sub 1 on the Highway Code. But also, the cyclist is supposed to leave the vehicle at least half a metre, a door's width, and at least half a metre if it were the curb. So half a metre at least away from the curb, the same away from the vehicle, at least a door's width away from the vehicle. Otherwise, the cyclist would be endangering anybody getting out of that vehicle because they might ride into the door being opened. So they need to leave that much space beside the vehicle. So all of those things combined, following the guidance and the rules in the Highway Code, the cyclist is quite right to be riding in the centre of the lane. That's what the law is. Whether you like it or disagree with it or have a different opinion about it is an entirely different matter. You're free to hold that opinion, just remember that it might go against you if ultimately you're this driver and you end up in court being prosecuted for careless or inconsiderate driving, or driving without reasonable care and consideration for other road users, which, for the avoidance of doubt, in my opinion, that's exactly what this driver has been doing. There is absolutely no reason whatsoever to be blasting the horn at this cyclist any more than would be necessary to alert the cyclist to their presence, because that is the function of the horn. It's not to scare the living out of the cyclist. It is only to be used to alert the cyclist to the presence of the vehicle. And then the cyclist, if able to do so, should allow the vehicle to overtake, which in this case, in fact, had no choice. The vehicle overtook anyway whilst continuing to sound the horn. And once more, if anyone were in any doubt whatsoever that this driver should not have been sounding the horn like that, I would direct you once more to another section of the Highway Code, which is section 112, all about the horn, which says, use only while your vehicle is moving and you need to warn other road users of your presence. Never sound your horn aggressively. You must not use your horn while stationary on a road when driving in a built-up area between the hours of whatever, except when another road user poses a danger. And all of this contained within the Construction and Use Regulations, Regulation 99. Now, as with many other things, aggressive driving behaviour like this can be prosecuted under Section 3 of the Road Traffic Act 1988, which is driving without reasonable consideration for other persons using the road, otherwise known as careless or inconsiderate driving. So there it is, another example of aggressive driving which, in my view, should uphold a successful prosecution under Section 3 of the Road Traffic Act. That's my opinion for what it's worth. Police are welcome to consider my opinion for what it's worth. Not that it's legal advice, but I'm a practicing barrister, that's what I think. Please do continue to send me your clips and your examples of such driving on the road, because education and awareness saves lives. In the meantime, please smash the like button and subscribe, and indeed, thank you for watching.